Today on CityCast Salt Lake, Salt Lakers are working from home. In fact, Utah is one of the top 10 states for it. Plus, Salt Lake City has proposed new rules for the flock license plate cameras all over our county, state, nation. I'm Ali Vallarta. I'm here with executive producer Emily Means.
Hello.
And audience development manager Angie Treasure.
Hi, guys.
Howdy.
Good morning, fam. I want to start with a story that I've been obsessed with for a few weeks now. Some new data from the Kempsey Gardner Institute about how many Utahns are working from home. We are doing it. We really love it. We're in the top 10 states nationally, according to data from 2024 for working from home. About 16% of us in Salt Lake County are doing it. But I want to ask you both, because the three of us all work from home. What would you do if that changed? Would you quit? You can be honest.
Whoa.
66% of Americans say they would.
Yeah, I do think it's a benefit a lot of people have become really dependent on and that they enjoy, and it works for their life, whether that's childcare, whether that's just home needs. I have spent a lot of time working from an office and an arena, and even within that time period, going work from home during COVID and then coming back. So I've been through every stage of
an arena
working
is
from
cracking
home.
me up because
Yeah.
of course you used to work for the Utah Jazz.
Of course you were a jazz player. So
Yeah, I was getting my shots up in the gym. No, I had to do at least 41 nights from Delta Center. So a lot of nights and weekends and weird hours. But like, it was strange when we went from working from home. It was about a year, maybe 18 months with the Jazz to returning to the office. We really kind of started back with working at games and then returning to the office. And it's jarring. It's a whole different rhythm. I personally, I see some benefits in working from the office. And if it's a job I love and that's what it requires, I'm open to it. But I understand why people don't feel the same way.
What about you, Emily? Do you miss the office? Would you willingly go back?
I love working from home so much. I feel so lucky that we can record this podcast from the comforts of our own, my second bedroom, Allie, your closet, you know,
or wherever I happen to be.
Or wherever you happen to be. I mean, nothing better for me than to roll out of bed at, 8:30 a.m., get prepped for the day for our 9:30 a.m. meeting. So I just really appreciate the ability to be able to do this. But yeah, there's some things I miss. I feel like there's less, a little less chit chat. I do like those human interactions, and a lot of our interactions happen over a camera or over Slack. And, so I miss that. I miss those, how was your weekend? What'd you do?
Yeah,
Chatting over the proverbial water cooler,
How awesome was Ada one day?
Did you see the Odyssey?
Yeah.
I really miss the water cooler talk. And I also feel like sometimes I'm less plugged into the community because of it, truthfully. Like, when I worked in an office, I never wanted for a good plumber recommendation. I never wanted for a good, story to reshare. I miss hearing about people's first dates. I miss hearing about their disaster kitchen renovation. I miss hearing about their marriages, funny kids stories. I just think that's kind of the point of life. And it's funny. One of the things that I think I've really discovered, and if we're all being honest, that we all discovered when many of us transitioned to working from home during the pandemic, is how little time you actually need to do your job. I can't believe, I'm going to be so real right now. I cannot believe I sat at a desk for 8 hours and acted busy for 8 full hours every day. It's just, the reality is just that actually, you can probably get it done in less time when you're truly focused. And the work from home has really elucidated that for me in a way that's we spent a good portion of our day just kind of kikiing, being in the office, having, dragging out the lunch break, whatever. And so I don't know if all of this moves us towards being a, 4 10-hour days a week, at least in the sort of white collar, you work in finance, you work in media, whatever kind of ecosystem. Fine with me. But I don't miss meal prepping.
That's true. I'll just say, I mean, I used to commute up to Park City. I
Same.
didn't have a car. I rode the bus to Park City. That took so much of my day.
Yeah.
Just going up and down Parley's Canyon. And by the time I got home, I was like, Jesus, I'm so tired. I haven't seen my boyfriend at the time for, 15 hours or whatever. So I really do feel lucky that we're able to work from home.
Yeah.
Why do we think Utahns like it so much? Or at least do it so often?
This is the thing about this that I find so interesting, because I mentioned 16% of Salt Lake County workers are working from home. We're not actually the highest. In Utah County, they're ahead of us, 17% working from home. When we look at this data, it tells us a lot about who's most likely to be working from home. It's us. It's women in white collar jobs, mostly white people or Asian, overrepresentation of Latinas working from home on this team.
That's true.
I thought it was the thing that's like kind of buried in here that I think is really important and most interesting is that before the pandemic, we were the third state for working from home. So I think part of the reason that we've held on is that actually we kind of always were doing it. We always had a higher rate, right? We dropped to 9th in 2024 because other states started adopting remote work. But before that, Utah was the third state. So I do think if you pull that together with women, mostly what, you know what I mean? Like with the other crosstabs, it points me to like women working from home, right? It's like the side hustle sort of like how much of that is part-time work, whatever. Like I just think there's something there. There's a very Utah story there.
We over-index on MLMs.
Yeah. Well, and the lack of available childcare, right? Like it's just something that women need access to because we don't have enough childcare in our communities. So, if women are able to stay home and work, that checks that box for a lot of families.
I do think it's interesting looking at the map, seeing the 4 states who are over 16%. It's Colorado, Arizona, Washington, and Oregon. And those also feel like high, again, this is going on vibes, not necessarily data, but high transplant states, especially post-COVID. So I wonder if a lot of people who already had remote work relocate. Colorado just sticks out to me. We'd have to ask our friends at CityCast Denver, but I thought that was interesting.
Yeah. Well, also the tech aspect here. I mean, Allie, you noted that a lot of people in media are working from home. Information industry is kind of how they've categorized this, and that includes tech employees. For some reason, I had in my brain that tech was making people come back to work, like, thinking about the Google campuses and all that, and how they, you've got like a full-on community in your workplace that you never have to leave. But I mean, hearing also that Utah County is leading out on this in our state, that's where Silicon Slopes is. So it does seem like, our tech industry in the state is cool with work from home.
Well, kind of. I mean, never forget when Qualtrics said, come back to the office.
Correct.
That was a couple years ago. And we all had one friend who was furious, right? Like it was like a paradigm shift into like, a tech groan of like, oh no, here we go. It was pretty recently that the state officially rescinded its work from home kind of policy. They said everyone needs to state employees need to return to office. The state changing its tune has been interesting to me because it's been in lockstep with, I think, the federal government changing its tune on this as well. The Trump administration has been full steam on repealing work from home policies. And actually last year, we used to have this thing in Utah where if the air quality was bad, right? If it was a bad air day, state employees were encouraged to telework. And that was repealed last year.
Oh, interesting.
Too bad, because that's such a smart policy.
Really smart.
Couldn't agree more.
Get people off the roads. We don't need people in I-15 traffic when it's a freaking chunky air day.
When you can drink the air.
Yeah. And what's interesting about it, too, is like, there is all the things happening with like these office to apartment building conversions happening. We've got a fair number of them in Salt Lake City. A big one on South Temple that just wrapped up is the Seraph. Remember that project?
Oh, yes.
Like kind of above the Alta Club.
Young. Yeah.
Yeah. But if you look at like, okay, so there's this, for example, Prince Perelson, which is a big recruiting firm here in Utah. They did this write-up that was basically like, y'all need to really reconsider these return to office mandates because they are starting to affect candidate behavior. We're finding that like offer acceptance rates are declining for fully in office roles, that candidates don't want to leave flexibility behind. And of course, the people who have the most bargaining power in a candidate negotiation tend to be upper management, tend to be people with more experience. Your most expensive, also often like, you know, your valuable employees, proven leaders, et cetera, they're most likely to take off.
Yeah.
I get that. Lucky us, I guess.
I do miss getting my jokes laughed at in person. As you guys know, I'm like the youngest child, so I walk in with jazz hands like, everybody laugh.
Look at me. I shoot you an LOL over Slack. Does that count for nothing?
Yeah, no, that's great.
Look, if you're an employer and you're thinking about making everyone go back to the office, think twice. That's all I'll say. When Grindr did it, half their workforce quit. So
think twice. Wow.
Executive producer Emily Means, audience development manager Angie Treasure. Big topic in our city right now, the Flock cameras. These are license plate readers. There are a couple brands that actually do this. Yeah. There's Flock, there's Axiom, etc. Flock has become what Kleenex is to tissues. Flock has become to license plate reading cameras. But if you remember, it was last December, Salt Lake City kind of put a pause on implementing a Flock camera, you know, system. I think they were, I think at the time, right, they were going to ask the federal government for some money for the expansion, right? That was it. There was a grant on the table.
Yep.
Yeah. And now what we've got is a proposal from Councilmember Alepoy for some rules about how these cameras can be implemented in Salt Lake City before they are, in fact, full steam ahead implemented. Mm-hmm. What did you think of these rules? What did you make of them?
These rules include requiring law enforcement to prove that there's a criminal case tied to their use of these cameras, because that's part of this, right? Is like the concern about information sharing with other agencies. Of course, nationally, this has been a big concern, especially with ICE. And so, you know, Councilmember Pui wanted to raise the burden of proof in a way. I guess that's a legal term. Maybe I shouldn't use it, but just make them jump through a couple more hoops to prove that they actually needed this information. I saw also from KUER's reporting that the ordinance includes auditing Salt Lake City Police Department and any agencies that request this data. I mean, I think it's a good start. And quoted in this KUER story is the executive director, or rather the legal director from the ACLU of Utah, Jason Groth, who I'm a huge fan of just generally. Jason has done a lot of great work around Operation Rio Grande and homelessness too. And he said that this is a really good start. So I'm kind of on of the mind that if it's good enough for Jason Groth at the ACLU, it's good enough for me.
Well, let's not misquote him. He did not say this is a good start. He said it's headed in the right direction.
Excuse me.
And I do think those have a slightly different patina. Headed in the right direction suggests that there is still quite a bit more work to be done. This is a good start implies that you have full faith that the work will be done.
Okay. Here she is with her liberal arts degree.
I saw that and was like, because you know what immediately came to mind for me was when we were interviewing Salt Lake City's police chief, Brian Redd, on this show. And he said to us, and this is a quote, I mean, I don't agree with the ACLU on everything. And so we were like running out of time at that moment, but I really deeply wanted to be like, wait a minute. Like what?
On what?
I would love to know.
We should have turned your face into a meme for that moment because you did one of these. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean by that?
Please make a list of all the things you disagree with the American Civil Liberties Union on, Chief Redd.
Yeah, you're right. And forgive me, Jason Groth, for misquoting you, but... So it sounds like more work to be done. More work to be done.
And it's good there's parameters. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw the Washington Post reporting that came out yesterday. They've had at least 50 law enforcement officers charged with misuse of this kind of data. A lot of ex-boyfriends who are cops tracking ex-girlfriends. I know that there was some uproar over a woman in Texas who may have gotten an abortion and they were tracking her movement. So I do think that's a lot of anxiety for folks is how will this data be used? How is it used in not even the wrong hands? It's the right people who have access, but using it for means we wouldn't find agreeable.
Right. Right. Which is a conversation that we've been having in this city, in this country, in this world for a long time now, which is, do we trust our police forces? Do we want them to have more access to our private information? And do we feel that surveillance technology is offering more benefit than actual insecurity or unsafety, right? That's I feel like all roads lead to that, and have probably since the Patriot Act and also 100 years before that when we established state police forces. It's daily life in urban infrastructure is figuring this out. I think the state of New Hampshire has the most conservative policy on these license plate reader cameras, which is that it's a 3-minute data deletion rule. So if the license plate reader, when it takes the photo, does not immediately detect an active warrant, a active investigation, that it's a hot plate, something like that, within 3 minutes, the data must then be deleted.
Interesting.
Which means it can't sit around in the server. It can't be accessible. It can't be poked around with later. You have 3 minutes to identify if this is an active threat.
Interesting.
And that is at this moment, as I understand it, the most restrictive law on the books.
I mean, I think what's interesting to me about, this new policy from Salt Lake City as well is, Councilmember Pui is saying the toothpaste is out of the tube. There are already more than 300 of these cameras in Salt Lake County. So really, it's about regulating them and not determining whether they should be here or not.
They're here.
They're already here.
Have you guys tracked yours on the map, by the way?
Yes, I thought that was so interesting, too. There's this map of all these different ALPRs. And
ALPR, automated license plate reader, right?
Automatic license plate reader. That's what these flock cameras are. So that's more generically what they're called. But this is crowdsourced data. And to me, that really tells me how the community feels about these tools, right? They're skeptical. They're nervous. They are...
And both ends of the political spectrum, as we've talked about when we're preparing for this episode, there's not a lot that unifies us sometimes, it feels like. And being nervous or at least unclear about how this data is being used is pretty unifying for the left and the right.
Right. Yeah. Right. Well, and we've talked about this a lot.
Data centers, flock cameras, Mike Lee. Those are our 3 bipartisan issues in Utah.
We've talked about this a lot in Salt Lake City with the rollout of the public safety plan. Surveillance has been a really big part of that, and it's been feeling a little bit big brothery in Salt Lake. Not only do we have these flock cameras, we've got drones that the city has been investing in. I don't know if you guys, I'm sure you've seen them actually. Those big cameras that are on, they look like robots, and they kind of put them throughout parks and vacant lots. That's part of this vision for surveillance as well.
LVT is one of the local companies that was the patch partner for the Utah Jazz. Not to always, Utah Jazz mentioned Angie Takes a Shot, but that was a company that put them in every parking lot, around the arena and in the offices. So it's a kind of a convergence of the tech local companies and surveillance. Security is how they brand it, and also questions about surveillance.
And I'll say, the way the police are saying that this is helping them out is really in their response time. The cameras will basically be able to respond to an incident before police can. And sometimes they look at the incident and see that they don't even need to dispatch anyone. So, for folks who are concerned about police response times, I think that they may see these tools as a benefit. But again, people generally are concerned about privacy and the mass surveillance of our city.
Yeah. And the ACLU, Nationals official stance is opposed to these flock cameras. They say that less than 1% of cars scanned by them belong to any individuals suspected of any wrongdoing at all. So their approach is, this is a solution in search of a problem, which, you know, a Utah fave. But I think that's like sort of the opposition, right? You remember in March when we were talking about the absolutely devastating triple homicide that happened near Torrey, Utah, where the 22-year-old man killed 3 women in one day. And I remember when we were following that reporting, seeing that it was because of a flock camera that they detected his vehicle and were able to apprehend him. And there was this like total sinking in my heart, because I was like, I am a person who's deeply opposed to the surveillance state. And I see that this is the instance. This, to me, feels like the outlier instance where this worked. And I'm like, no.
But also it could have saved lives.
No, but also, yes, it could have saved lives. Like, this was someone who was on a killing spree. Again, unbelievably rare. Not the like normal kind of crime we see anywhere in this state or country. That is like that's not normal crime. But like, there we are.
Right. But, you know, I think people have big feelings about this. And hey, if you do, guess what? There's going to be a public hearing for the Salt Lake City ordinance on September 15th. I imagine that's going to be a long night for the city council.
We should say you can zoom into the city council meeting still. You can show up in person at the city county building. September 15th will be a Tuesday. That's when they meet. If you have strong feelings about this, that would be the time to go and share them. Executive producer Emily Means, audience development manager Angie Treasure. On Tuesdays, we do shout outs. We don't wear any particular color, but we do shout outs. Emily, you first. What's your shout out?
Sure. Well, on Friday, I'm sure y'all saw there was a fire that broke out at an apartment complex in Midvale, displaced hundreds of residents. I saw that there were no injuries, so that is great news. But of course, a scary Horrible situation all around. And a lot of people lost everything. So if you are wondering how you can support this community, there are a couple of ways. I saw the Red Cross of Utah is providing aid here, so you can make a financial donation to Red Cross. And they really do recommend a financial donation over, you know, something like shoes, clothes, whatever. It's just too much for them to organize in a timely manner. And so they recommend a financial donation. But also Midvale Mayor Dustin Gettle set up like a recovery email for this fire. It's recovery@midvaleut.gov. And this is for anyone who can provide assistance like hotel rooms or, you know, food or clothes. And then the local government will connect residents directly. So those are 2 ways to get involved and support our Salt Lake community when they need us. Angie, what about you?
So we had 801 Day this last Saturday. I know it was a couple days, but I'm still buzzing. I don't know about you guys. It was my first 801 Day as a team member. And so getting to meet all of our neighbors and the people who were just hanging out with us on the milk block, listening to KRCL or drinking a beer in the neighbor's beer garden. We loved hanging out with you. But I wanted to shout out 2 neighbors who came by. They participated in our 801 Day passport promotion, and they spent all day, you guys, going up and down the 9 line visiting these businesses. So it was Kate and Andrea, and they got 25 stamps. So
way to go.
Out of 30.
Right?
Yeah,
like 30 businesses.
I think we had 35, 36 participating.
Yeah. Wow.
And you didn't necessarily have to buy something to get a stamp, right? That you just have to go in and visit. But these gals went and they got their coffee at Coffee Garden because they had an 801 deal for an olive oil cake and an oolong tea. And they went and got lunch at Freshies. They said they were so full by the end. They came to visit and then they just wanted to see how it worked. And they're like, okay, we're going over to Veneto because they did an $8 glass of wine and $1 appetizer. And they were going to do that. And they came back and they didn't win anything in our opportunity drawing, which I was bummed. We did have a person who did 20 stamps who won. So that was lovely. But Kate and Andrea, the fact that you guys made a whole day of it, it was a hot day, as we know, and instead of just staying home and bemoaning the weather, you guys went and had such an epic day. And I love that for you guys. You can follow Kate on Instagram. She Sip Snack Stroll SLC.
Oh, nice.
Of course.
She kept tagging us. I was delighted all day long. She had all her deals, all her merch and stickers and everything she picked up.
That is so
Honestly,
wonderful.
should we make them the 801 Day 2027 co-chairs?
Right? I'm going to talk to them about what they liked about the passport because I want to do it again.
Yes. Miss 801 Day.
Oh my gosh, you guys, can we make a sash next year?
Yes. Yeah, we should.
That would be great.
We should.
Wow, that's incredible. What a great way to spend the day just supporting local businesses,
Truly.
our favorite local businesses.
Truly. And shout out to you, Angie, because you worked really hard with Michael from the Milk Block to make that 9-line passport happen. And what we heard from businesses along 9th South is they did get a boost. And like it was a huge, huge day for a lot of businesses on the 9-line. So it worked out beautifully. Shout out to you.
It was something we tried. And, you know, you guys had decided to do this passport before I came on. So I was a little bit like, I showed up to the group project and got an A.
Nah, you executed.
But we were delighted to know how much people enjoyed it. We ran out of passports, which we printed a couple hundred, and we're like, I don't know if anyone's going to pick these up. And we ran out, and we had people saying, please do this again, where it lasts a week, lasts all summer. So we want to think of ways we can bring it back because we loved how much you guys loved it.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was great.
801 Day.
801 Day.
Another 801 Day.
2026.
In the books, folks. We did it.
Wow. Allie, what's your shout out?
I want to shout out the town of Paradise, Utah, population 971. This is near Logan in Cache County. And I'm shouting them out because I only recently learned, as a near 10-year Salt Lake resident, about Trout and Berry Days. Have either of you been to Trout and Berry Days?
They are combined?
Yep.
It's not Trout Days and Berry Days?
Nope. Trout and Berry Days was created in 1990 by Roger Roundy, the then owner of the Cracker Barrel. And one of the great traditions that happens at Trout and Berry Days that I also recently learned about is the Trout Scramble, which if you want to get this on your calendar now is going to be Saturday, August 29th at noon. And what happens is they stock a little basically kiddie swimming pool full of trout and water, and kids run around and catch trout, and then the family gets to take home the trout and cook it.
Extremely Cache Valley of them.
Extremely Cache Valley of them. But actually, like, this all kicks off this year on August 21st. There's a rodeo that's $10 a person, which I think is really reasonable.
Nice.
They're doing a pickleball tournament this year, Vary of the Times, horseshoe tournament, a 5K, a breakfast. There is a mud volleyball.
Oh, sexy.
Sure.
And then the grand finale is on Saturday, August 29th, 6 p.m. There's a trout dinner with berry tarts. So there's a berry eating contest. I mean, this is Americana, folks. This is like, if you didn't get your fill of America 250, now is your chance. Trout and Berry Days in Paradise.
I love that.
There's a berry for every trout. I'm going to start saying that instead of lid for every pot.
Wow. And we will completely understand what you're trying to say. One of the things I love about Utah is how many X days we have, Brigham City Peach Days, although RIP the peaches this year, right?
Yeah. Swiss Days.
Tomato days, strawberry days. I love it. There's a day for everyone.
Yeah. Mud volleyball, if you want to participate, $3 a person.
I'm just going to guess what that is. I don't want to know what it is. I'm just going to make it up in my head.
I think you know exactly what it is.
You can go ahead and assume the website is troutandberrydays.com. So good.
I bet that URL's been open for a while.
Yeah, I'm surprised no one else has taken that domain.
You got it. Got it in 1990, baby. All right. Something about this show is that it is member powered. We've got a membership program. And if you join, we shower you in perks. Like on Tuesdays, we pass the mic to our members so that they can shout out the people, places, and things that they love. We've got some new members to welcome before we do that. And also, as I understand it, we're running kind of a deal this week if you become a member. We've got merch.
Yeah, we're doing a merch closet clean out. We
Nice.
have beautiful mugs. I actually have one right here for those the video. Ooh, CityCast Salt Lake neighbors. You could either if you sign up this week, you can either get a mug, a pennant that has the whale on it, says Salt Lake City, and a tote that also mentions the neighbors program. It's a great tote
all the time. So this is swag that we've had in previous member campaigns, and we have a little bit extra. But all the time we hear from folks who are like, "Oh, I already became a member. Can I please get this swag?" Sorry, I don't think so. But if you become a new member, you can get this swag.
Yeah, it was like someone who came up to our table who was already a neighbor at 801 Day. And he's like, "Oh, but my wife wants a mug." And it's like, well, sign her up for an account. So you can both be neighbors. And then you get that. She can get that mug. Yeah,
Exactly.
like a finder's fee.
I'm partial to the pennant because we designed those and created them in partnership with like the official Oxford pennant. So it is an official Oxford pennant, if that means anything to you. Okay, shout out to our newest members, Sierra L., Marcy R., Andrew M., Colin B., Lori M., Brandon M., Cody H., Lily B., also to Catherine C., Zachary S., Eric W., and Amanda B. We asked for $10 a month or $100 a year to join our membership program. And there are other perks beyond the merch we're offering, beyond the shout outs. You get ad-free listening, which makes your morning, catch up on everything happening in the city even faster. Would you both like to read some shout outs from our members?
Love to. Let's start with David C., who says, "Can we get some love for Gaetano's Sub Shop? They've been making the best sandwiches in the Valley since 1973 and are currently struggling to get the attention they deserve. Their steak sandwiches are amazing, and the classic Italian sub is my go-to." And Allie, we know that you're looking for sandwiches, so
always
you got to try Gaetano's.
Gaetano's is also for sale. So now is the time to show them some love. They closed their Murray location. Now the one on State Street has been up for sale for a while. So pop in, tell them not to sell, or buy it and keep it going.
Keep selling that Italian sub because I do
Two
really
options.
like that.
First, prioritize becoming a neighbor at $10 a month. And then after that, a mortgage for Gaetano's on State Street.
Easy peasy.
You can do it all.
Yeah.
And then a shout out from Brooke P. Wasatch Rangers is a new K-12 nature program from Community Co-op Nature School, meeting at local trails and parks every Friday afternoon this fall. Built for kids at schools and with half-day Fridays. Spots are open.
Love that.
Right? Great program.
I want to go to nature school. That's like the opposite of work from home.
I was part of the hiking club in high school.
Yeah. But is the Wi-Fi connection strong enough to do a remote podcast while you're at Nature Club? That's what I need to know.
You could probably bum Wi-Fi from a nearby flock camera.
Starlink. Get a Utah tech company on trail Wi-Fi.
Exactly. All right. Support this show. Get great perks. We can't make this show every day and our newsletter without you. Thank you to all of our CityCast Salt Lake neighbors. That's what we call our members. And if you'd like to join, we're waiting for you. Visit membership.citycast.fm. Executive producer Emily Means, audience development manager Angie Treasure. Have a great Tuesday.
See ya.
Have a great day.
That is all for us today here on CityCast Salt Lake. We will be back tomorrow morning with more from around town. Take care.